right, we're out here in Long Beach. We got the homies Matthew and Robert from AKT. Introduce yourself. Tell us about your shop. What are we doing?
My name's Matt. I am the director of production at AKT in Orlando. Right now, I have the biggest team I've ever had in my life, and I've been screen printing for about 18 years. 33.
Damn.
I started when I was 15 in the garage,
That's rad.
like a lot of people. But yeah, it's an exciting time. We have 6 machines right now. We're getting our 7th one in a month.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And then we're hopefully getting an 8th one within a year's time.
It's a lot.
But yeah, man, right now it's all about, for me, building the right team. As you know, when your team gets bigger, it's a little bit hard to make sure everyone's still very personal with each other. But it's taken about 5.5 years with this team in Orlando to get it to where I really want it to be, or at least on the right trajectory.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'm Robert Pfeffer. I'm Director of Operations at AKT. I bounce around department to department, kind of all of the things, areas I'd love to work in, which is production, where we started. But anything from the accounting to sales rep aspects and how that really, I guess, how they work smoothly with each other to make sure the production gets what they need. Today, probably focusing on documentation and training materials more than ever before. Like you said, the team is huge now, and so the time we invest in onboarding and getting someone up to a level where they didn't have to be in the company for 5 years to understand the intricacies of like this department and how this person likes to work. You're like, no, it's just give me a lot of that in the next coming years. So that's a big focus. And actually, I'll throw this one out here. We do e-commerce fulfillment too. This year, we're onboarding a whole new warehouse management system because we've had a very, very old one that we wrote, proprietary system. So that's my first and second quarter, 100% is documentation and this new warehouse management system. There's a lot going on.
It's crazy how complicated it is to make a t-shirt. That's what I tell people all the time. Like, you would not believe how much. And if you're doing it with volume, you know, if you're trying to process, 30 to 100 POs a day,
different types of designs, different types of clients, and schools and bands and sports teams.
My favorite thing is when you talk to someone who doesn't know about screen printing or digital printing at all, in their mind they're like, oh yeah, you just throw this t-shirt into a printing machine and it comes out fully printed. I'm like, it's a little more complicated than that. It requires a lot.
What all services do you guys offer at AKT?
I mean, the whole gamut, but our bread and butter is still screen printing. We do work very closely with a lot of other custom-made garment manufacturers, both domestically and overseas. Lots of people that are doing embroidery for us, but screen printing is...
Do you guys do embroidery in-house?
We don't, no.
Smart.
I mean, you know what, it's just...
Dude.
You would have to build out a whole other department
it,
for it, you know? So. Some people have been doing it for so long and are so good on it, we're just like, let's partner with them. They clearly know what they're doing as far as embroidery goes. I'm not trying to beat them out, I just want to work with them. You know? It makes our lives a little easier.
For sure. That certainly was our story. We started and shut down an embroidery department probably 2 times. Yeah, we bought equipment, closed it down, bought it, sold it, and then finally it was just like, especially in Oklahoma when there's not a ton of contract decorators for embroidery, we just kept finding that eventually, even your best customers are like, I gotta have these hats this weekend. And when the CEO of a $1 million account says, I have a hunting trip with my buddies this weekend and I gotta have these 12 hats, you're like, you bet. You have to figure it out, those hats. And when, when your contract provider just can't, that's tough. And so we just found ourselves in a situation where it's like, we just have to do this.
Are there any jobs that you still decide to source because of design or quantity or size or anything like that?
No, not yet. But we're also, that's probably where we have the most room to grow in our business is embroidery. It represents probably about 10% of our gross monthly sales compared to our screen printing. And so we have the capacity of all of our machines. We have 48 heads of embroidery and we have 4 people in the department. We have the ability, and I like stressing them because when you stress the teams, you know this, our screen printers are really, really good at screen printing only because of our top like wholesale account client. They have the highest standards, so like our printing has to be super crispy. Well, if we have a high volume customer that has really high expectations,
to make the embroidery real sharp.
Yeah, and it makes everything else sharp too. It makes the whatever school that has low quality standards, they're still essentially getting the same quality.
You're gonna get the best stuff.
Yeah, because you can't. It's not like we're gonna try real hard on these and then just doesn't matter on those.
You have to raise your standards.
There was something that kind of pushed us in that direction too, because before we started the actual screen print company, which we used to own together in Southern California called Glad Rags, we had a clothing brand called Loud and Obnoxious.
Okay.
And at the time, streetwear was still just exploding and little brands were popping up everywhere. But the people that purchase those shirts, they pay a lot of money for them, but they also expect a really crazy, super sharp, high detail, vibrant print. So we're like, okay, well, we're catering to people that are gonna pay $40, $50 a t-shirt. Every print has to be immaculate.
Perfect, yep.
But every single client we had that wasn't screen printing, we treated the same exact way. So it really pushed us in the right direction. We're like, everything has to be 100% perfect, period. It doesn't matter who you're selling to, right, or who you're printing for. So yeah, I mean, we had kind of the same thing happen to us, which is not a bad thing.
Do you guys do any digital printing in-house?
We do. So we have a small single head DTV machine.
For now.
For now. But we also just got a digital squeegee. So now we're doing digital and screen print at the same time, which has kind of changed the game for us. Because one thing that, every screen printer has to deal with is when you don't have a big machine and you're trying to separate a design that should be probably 14 colors. Now you
end up rigging it and no one's happy.
Right. So we were like, you know what? The technology is getting better. It's time. It's time to try it. And with as good as we are with separations, we're finding that like, holy crap, now we can do all kinds of crap we've never been able to do before. It's not a perfect solution for every single design and piece of garment, but it covers a lot of areas that we can't touch when you only have a 10-color press in the warehouse.
So you had however many machines that were running, primarily screen printing focused. Then you drop in the digital squeegee. How long have you had the digital squeegee?
About 3 months now.
Okay.
No, 2 months. No, it's more than that. 6 months. It went by really quickly. I'm sorry about that.
Do you is it running all the time? How are you prioritizing what jobs go to the digital squeegee? What is it like practically going from a already high production facility and then dropping in such a unique piece of equipment?
So we didn't actually even market it as being part of a service that we offer. We made that designation behind the scenes where we were like, all right, we did the training, we've done some testing on this. I think I know what types of designs are going to work best for this. Never even tell the client unless they're specifically asking for it. They already know about the process. And they still haven't noticed that we've made the switch because it was that good. But we are using it on a daily basis, I will say that. But we have to be very selective of what we can or can't print on it, obviously.
Reprinting a previous design that was in 8 or 9 colors, probably not an option. You're going to notice the difference between the digital squeegee and actual screen print.
But we do a lot of band merchandise, so like metal bands, hardcore bands.
They gotta have.
And their artwork is insane. They're usually
huge.
Not sent to you in vector.
Yeah, can I print it
color
off
separated,
The picture, the sticker. Figure it out.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I painted this on this random cloth. I want it to look exactly the same.
Yes, sir. Got it.
Yeah, but you know what? It's definitely been a game changer. There's struggles with it as well. It's not a perfect thing, but we're figuring out specifically what works on it, and we're going full throttle with that. We're like, all right, these crazy picture painting style photographs, skin tones are amazing on it, and obviously you have to be very specific on what type of garments. Usually 100% cotton. We've been doing 80-20, like 20% polyester. That's actually been working out well if they're not using cheap dyes or anything like that, but yeah, it's been crazy.
We talked about Jaron, the guy in the orange hat over there. He's my production manager, and he started the business with me in the beginning. We have flirted at different times about a digital squeegee, and the latest configuration we figured was like we probably needed to have a dedicated team, like a pit crew of 3 people.
You have to.
that are technicians.
I have my DS guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So they're not floating around. They're not running an auto and screen printing. They're just taking care of this sports car.
They are for the most part, but they'll have like split time in a day where we're like, all right, first half of the day you're going to run 2 to 3 DS designs. Second half of the day, standard screen printing. So I mean, obviously they still have to know how to screen print well and screen print water-based inks.
Yeah.
Which for us, going from a primarily plastisol shop was a bit of a hurdle, but now that they're doing it every day,
you have a new skill.
It's fine. Yeah, it's totally fine.
When do you not send a job to the digital squeegee?
Right now, it's when there's like neon colors.
Okay.
It doesn't reproduce those that well.
Okay.
That's something that you really have to either dial in with your like digital file that you're sending to the DS, or you're gonna have to reproduce those with spot colors. It really is.
Low colors, spot colors is a good example too, because you print them so quickly and the color is so vibrant.
Right.
Whereas even with the digital print, you're mixing colors to get whatever that color is all the way across the board. So you have a big chunk of purple here. Printing that spot color, a lot of times just in your best bet. But if in that design you also have 13 more colors, you start having to weigh and measure what's best. You want to go digital on all the colors, or try and replicate this and spend 7 hours separating it.
Yeah.
That's actually, so I don't do separations. It's one of the few things in business I never actually learned. Thank God.
It's hard. It takes a long time to learn how to do it.
But I look at our team and I see how much time we spend on separations, and we do the impossible. We get sent this design that it's not meant to be printed in 7 colors, and we find a way to mix and blend every color we can to try and replicate it. And I go, guys, we spent 6 hours just separating artwork on this. You know, we didn't make an extra $1. I want to print more vector artwork, or I want to have a solution that you guys can just throw it at a digital solution and be like, you literally just have to separate the base for this, and then we ran it, you know?
For us, it was one of those things where it's like, let's kind of just look at the math and then production efficiency. We have 2 machines that can do 8 color prints. Oh, that hurts. You know, we have 2 machines that can do our, what we consider full color prints at 8 colors. And
every screen printer's cringing. Everyone's like, oh shit.
Those are some sticky pallets too.
That's a pop screen, bro.
Sticky pallets.
And you know what we don't have here? Excess screens.
Right.
We got here in one of our screens. We made all the screens in Oklahoma City, and one of them was wrong. And there's all of the technology in these walls to make a screen. Right. But we've been running around asking all of our buddies, like, okay, we got to reclaim it. Like, we have a booth. So Easy Ways let us reclaim. And then we went over to the Kiwo Ulano booth, and they let us coat. And then our homies at Saudi are laser. I have to get it right. No, it's Ulano. They're lasering it. They have their laser machine. They're like, I'm pretty sure it's dialed.
Check that out.
So we already fucked up one screen. We've reclaimed it. It's cured. We've coated it earlier, and now it's curing, or it's drying, and then we're gonna try to expose it.
This trade show is essentially a mega shop,
yes.
A mega print shop. Yeah,
but it's all a lie. Because nothing's worked.
Yeah.
Nothing works. Like that we can't use that exposure. It's not even plugged in. And like this is a washout booth. Like those chemicals, I can't. It's a lie.
I love it.
What challenges are you guys facing? Are you looking to face this year, or problems you need to solve with equipment, or things that you see coming that are just coming down the pipe?
I mean, on the production side, the hardest part is materials, because everything's been changing. Just the raw material shortage has been kind of crazy. But it's kind of pushed some of our ink companies to like rethink their formulas and make a better product. That, and then also equipment availability is just like, equipment costs more than it ever costs. And it takes longer to get it.
Yep.
So it's definitely a little tricky, but that's one of those things where it is important to get really tight with your distributor or manufacturer, because
relationship's a big deal.
Right. Are they going to prioritize our order? Are we too small of a company? Or have we been with them for so long, even though we're a smaller company, that they'll maybe help us out a little, push our time frame? Like those types of things are the reason why we come to this show.
What about from your purview? What challenges are you facing?
Well, I said it a lot from the start. A lot of training and scaling with these teams, and having a sales team that one day was 5 people and now is 23 people. It's how do you get everyone to learn those skills in a reasonable amount of time and have the workflows to submit a screen printing order, to submit an embroidery order, to submit an order with screen printing and embroidery on it. There's a lot there. So I would say, again, it's training materials. I think there's a lot of guys out there doing it right, where they're like making a central hub for videos and literature for this process.
Yeah.
And I think the last one I'm real worried about this year is just like what, year to year prior to the pandemic, there's ebbs and flows in the business, and we can predict them in January and July and December. I don't know what to expect this year.
Yeah.
Last year was so out of the ordinary. We didn't have, we do a lot of bands, we didn't have a regular tour season. It wasn't like, oh, it was crazy in July, and then by December it was done. It just went on for 18 months. Like everyone played every venue that it possibly could. It just didn't stop. So I don't know what to expect this year. Are we going to have those ebbs and flows? Are we going to have a low season, or is it just going to be balls to the wall for the next 12 months again? Which I would love. 18 months, no music events, it's hard.
Yes.
But
scaling up quickly is hard, and everyone I think struggles with that because once you perfect your business, whether that's screen printing or embroidery, that becomes the easy part. The hard part is
getting it there.
Right. How do I find the right people that are going to be able to do what we've already perfected?
Yeah.
How do I get, instead of 2 people, 4 people to do this just as good, if not better?
Yeah.
That is the hardest part, and that's actually what I've learned the most ever since we've moved to Orlando and expanded the team is how do I lead this team in the right direction, and how do I have more of a top view perspective on how to run it, how to grow this team without being in the process every single day. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love screen printing, but it's not effective if I'm screen printing every single day.
Right, you can't be able to press.
I can't, So that's been like, I think every department we have is scaling up in a very short amount of time. Finding the right people and training them properly. That's been
Andy from Farcon talks about this more than anyone else.
Yeah.
He's always like, I have those 2 autos. I don't want more than 2 autos. I have the perfect team, like perfect efficiencies. Like every time we try to add more, it's like starting all over again.
Really?
Like I get it, but for some of our businesses, we have to scale. We have to learn, figure out how to, maybe not in an instant. Obviously, expanding a screen printing team is not like, oh, we got the machines tomorrow, so we're ready. Now we have 50% more capacity.
Right.
It just doesn't work that way.
It's definitely a one-way road. Like I think, like if you want to be a successful business, you have to constantly be reinventing yourself.
Right.
You have to constantly be evaluating yourself and ready to change. Because if you're not, and you're or you could be small enough or boutique, have 2 autos, and like this is the lane that we're in. This is what we're doing. Like, I mean, that's not bad.
Yeah.
You were talking about SOPs, or you were talking about just employee manuals. Have you guys messed around with AI chat?
No, I haven't.
So I'm
excited and worried.
Go to set up an account and type in like, you can ask it a question, but write me an SOP for reclaiming a screen, and it will 10 steps, write it all out, and then you can go in and edit things, give it your own voice, or make it, and I think the chat, we're met in our art department too, like there's the art that's just being created, and then there's the text that's...
I've seen some of the art.
It's wild. It's not very screen printable right now, but for digital printing or for packaging or for banners
or
or
at
like...
least even for inspiration, which seems like a bit of a cheat, but hey, that's what's available to everyone today. So
I have a business...
It's not a cheat, it's just a different way of doing it, right?
I have a business that we sell cannabis, and my buddy Burns, so our brand is called Chill, and it's a polar bear, and he just typed in like smoke and polar bear. It's pretty cool, you can see it. But these smoky bears are pretty cool, but what's really rad is this guy. Like, you could print that on a bag, and it's ready to go. Yes, all you said, yes. And just polar bear, like space, and then you have this product that's, I could find, if someone came to me and said, I need a polar bear that is in Spain, if they wanted this, I would charge them $1,000 for that because it would take them 3/4 of a day to illustrate.
Right. And it might not even be as
popped
good.
it out in 5 minutes or 30 seconds, and if you don't like it, you can say, do it again, do it again, do it again, or you can just refine it.
Can we just ask AI to screen print for us?
Yeah, right?
Do that
It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you, fellas.
Dude, hell yeah.
Appreciate
no problem.
it.
Thanks for having us.
Wish Jared was here. Sorry, Jared.
Right.
But,
Sorry,
you know,
Jared.
they represent you well. You got a great team.
Hell yeah.
But enjoy the show, and please come by anytime.
Yeah, great to be here. Thanks.
Thank you guys.
Appreciate it.